All right. This particular message is going to be in regards to, I've heard throughout my time doing this, people who actually encountered narcissists in like intimate partner settings, um, and felt that they knew, right? There's all this information is out there, but the individual got caught up in the excitement and possibly the love bombing and attention that the narcissist was giving them, right? And they allowed the feelings of what that felt like to um, motivate them into overlooking what they already know about the person. Like if I have had people that say, well, I knew that they were a narcissist. I knew, like, I felt like they had heavy tendencies, so forth and so on. But one of the common things that came into play was they felt that they were able to manage those aspects of the narcissist, right? So here we have, in a sense, another person whose ego thinks that it can tame a narcissistic individual, with how they are, all of the traits and stuff that comes along with that. And you have people who feel as though they can manage that, right? To where it can still be beneficial to them. Some of these people, some are narcissists themselves who are up for the challenge, right? They're up for that challenge. Is okay, narcissist on narcissist. Well, they know they feel like if they can win out and tame this narcissist, then they're more superior. Then you have the others who are codependent, and they like the idea of this person, wanting them, the back and forth. They like the imperfection of it all in the narcissist, right? The codependent likes that because it makes them feel as though that connection will be secure in them accepting the narcissist. The narcissist will always turn back towards them and never really leave them, right? You have that dynamic. Then you have those who are just foolish, who lack common sense and engage into things which will ultimately work against them, go against them, and not work out in their favor in the end. Right? You have these variants. It's just part of life. But at a certain point, the foolish being educated turns into just stupidity. Because one is lacking the knowledge and engaging in something that would be harmful to you. The other, when it becomes stupidity, is when right? I'm not talking about you find out later. I'm talking about from the very onset. You know what you're dealing with, but you still go towards it and engage in that type of situation. That's beyond ignorance at that point, because you have knowledge. That's just stupidity. But yet I tell y'all, I've had clients, I've had people I've known still will involve themselves with these narcissists. Now, in some factors where people, we're not talking about, just so we're on the same page, we're not talking about people who didn't know, had no idea they were dealing with a narcissist, and later they, found out, but yet they're still dealing with them. There's a lot of different components that ties into that, trauma bonds, a lot of different type of things that go into that to say whether or not that person should or shouldn't be continuing to deal with that individual. Right. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when people who know what it is, know the knowledge, understand and have figured out what they're dealing with before they get into it, but yet still go and involve themselves with narcissistic individuals, especially in an intimate partner type of situation. I would venture to say the large majority of them are codependents. Yeah, I would say that the larger part of those individuals are codependents. You have, again, various other degrees of what these individuals are, but a large part of them are codependents, and they haven't fully found what it is that makes them valuable, that would make them desirable to someone else who can treat them as an equal. The codependent wants to be dependent on someone, typically in a toxic type setting. Right. They like to have to work towards keeping an individual, and that plays right into the narcissist's hands, because it gives the codependent something to strive for, something to do, something to make them feel like they're deserving of this because they went through so much. This is why that union between codependent and narcissist works so well, because the codependent wants to go through all of this to say that they are worthy and then finally earn the love or the recognition off of the abuser. And they thrive in that type of exchange, that type of dynamic. They thrive in that. If it isn't, because really, and not to get too far offside in the codependence, folks, but to give you an understanding, like codependence, if it's too good of a situation, perfect, the codependent's not going to feel in place in a healthy type of situation or relationship. So this is for the normal folks. If you run into a codependent, and that may be my next video, how that can be just as detrimental as being with a narcissist. I'll say that for another video, but there's some things that are in there to where if you are a normal, healthy person, being with that codependent is going to bring its own set of problems, just as being with the narcissist will too. So it's not just that we have to look out for narcissists. We have to look out for people who have other type of mental type of disorders and stuff set in place as well. Right? Because these individuals that are, codependent and so forth, will engage and will go into situations which, will have a toxic exchange, which will have bad outcomes. You have people who just don't know any better, right? People who are green, they lack common sense. They lack good judgment. They get involved into these situations and they have to really go through it before there's a period of time before they finally get it that this isn't good for them. Then they leave. And now their whole world is completely altered and turned around because they're feeling and believing that everyone is like that, which it isn't. It's just because of their their lack of awareness of what was actually out there to deal with, they weren't put up on. But, you know, many people still have chosen to engage and deal with narcissists in that way. Even knowing that they were narcissists, they knew it. They felt it, they knew it, but they decided to still engage with that. And ultimately, it didn't go right, but yet they're still in there trying to hold on to something. Some people don't like to let go of what they've invested in. They don't want to see that go, and it plays out in their mind and in their imagination that that person is going to go and fulfill everything that they wanted to fulfill with them with someone else. There's different motivating factors, folks, of why people stay in these situations. But make sure you're not one of those who knowingly put yourself into harm's way. That's all I got to say for this video, folks. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. Till next time, have a good one.